Well met, lords and ladies, and welcome to the Throne Room. This is episode 1 of the video game podcast that may forever change your fealty. I'm your host, David Klingel, and I'm joined by a couple of other noble dudes, Anre Borges-Brown.
What's up?
And Zach Oliver.
How's it going, guys?
All right, well, we're here, boys. We've been talking about starting a podcast since the Dark Ages. How you feeling about it right now?
Feeling real good. I think now is a great time to start a podcast about games because of what's going on in the gaming industry, what continues to go on, and the start of this generation, the PS5, Xbox Series X generation. I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things to dissect, a lot of opinions, and the three of us have a lot of different backgrounds and different opinions on stuff. So I think it's a great time, actually.
Yeah, what about you, Zach?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. We've been talking about this for, I don't know, like you said, the Dark Ages. It feels like
Yes.
way too long, and finally just really excited to be here, excited to get this thing started and see where we go with it. So I'm just overall just really ready for this to take off.
Yeah, me too. Definitely super excited. Really glad to, start getting some viewership and really give everyone the content we've been wanting to do for them for the longest. Another question I had about it while we're here, though, is, what do you think it takes to be a successful video game podcast? And why do you feel that we deserve a spot in this space?
Wow. What it takes is
Excellent question.
something people want. You have to give people what they want, and the thing we have, I think, is a lot of different viewpoints about various things in the industry. A lot of different starting points, I guess you could say. And consistency. Obviously, you would need that. So give people what they want, and then once they want it, keep giving it to them.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, I think, the three of us have a really great chemistry. We've had it for a long time. We just really have fun hanging out and shooting the shit together. Yeah. So I think, it's going to be a lot of fun, if nothing else. What about you, Zach?
I definitely feel like connection is definitely something that is a very strong point to have.
Yeah, internet connection. You need one.
In a connection like that as well.
We'd never be here if not for that.
Relationships between the podcasters themselves is definitely what also draws people in. Just being able to have conversation and keep things going naturally and not really forcing anything, I definitely feel is a very good thing to have. So
definitely.
It's also very important to pray to the YouTube algorithm overlords
that they let people know we're here, right?
Notice me, senpai.
They're very important.
Yeah, I really like what you said there, Zach. I really appreciate. I can really appreciate that, because one thing that I would love for this podcast to do, if nothing else, is create a community. Some friends that we can have and people that we can also hang out with and just be something larger than ourselves. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that for sure. Well,
absolutely.
For the first episode, I thought it'd be a great idea for us to talk about our past for a bit and let the viewers, know exactly what it is that got us into video games in the first place. So that being said, Anre, where does your story begin?
Way back in the Dark Ages.
Ages?
I mean, really, since I was a kid, the first system I can remember playing was probably the Sega Genesis. Ironically enough, it was my Genesis into video gaming. I know a lot of people are, Nintendo fans, and they have all these great games or whatever, and I don't hold that against them. But, the Sega Genesis had some bangers, man. First of all, the multi-platform games like Street Fighter 2. I love fighting games, and Street Fighter 2 was like the beginning of my fighting game exploits. My brother likes to tell stories about how he would be losing very badly to me. He's older than I am. He was losing very badly, and then he would take the controller out and start beating me up because I can't do anything. And I would take the controller and I'd plug it back in, and then I'd come back and I'd beat him. So he would cheat horribly, blatantly, and still lose. And that's when he knew I was a prodigy. But yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, another.
Well, Anre, real quick, I gotta say, I'm glad that your brother isn't the only one getting his ass kicked by you. So that makes me feel better. But continue.
I gotta agree. Yeah.
Continue, Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I love that game. Mortal Kombat. When I was able to play it, I love that game.
Oh man, Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I was not allowed to play that game. It was one of those my dad hid. Too mature, I guess. And for some reason, my brother and I, we would find it wherever he hid it, and we'd have fun, and we'd try to not let him know that we played it. But of course, at some point or another, it would get found out, and we'd get in trouble. But that didn't stop us.
Yeah. I was pretty much the same way. My dad bought it for me, and my mom was like, "No, you're not going to play this." It's incredible now looking back. It's like these little sprites of like red polygons. It's nothing. All right, we got Scorpion like taking people's skeletons out of their body in graphic HD detail. And back then he'd like throw a fireball at your feet and you'd burn up or whatever. But anyway, yeah. So, and I did play some Super Nintendo with friends. I beat a lot of games that I didn't own, like Super Mario World. I love that game. Everybody played, I know there are a lot of games I didn't play, like Mega Man or the one with the little guy in his green little jumpsuit. I don't know his name.
Does he make a sound or something?
Yeah, he makes a lot of sounds like rah, ha, ha, yeah. He doesn't talk. It's not Mario.
He was more like, hey,
does
that sound more like it?
Yeah, him. Yeah, all I know is he wears green. He has
The Legend of Zelda. For anyone that doesn't know, like Anre here, which is probably a very low probability, but Legend of Zelda is what he's talking about right now.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's a decent game. If it was really good, if he was an iconic character,
he never owned a Nintendo.
If he's an iconic character, you'd probably get a game named after him by now. But anyway, So
a link to the past, man. A link.
That's a spinoff. That's a subtitle.
Link's Awakening. I guess subtitle.
That's a subtitle.
I mean, I can't disagree with you, I guess, but his name is still somewhere in there.
Yeah, eventually. So, and then I just kept going after that. Had a 64, had a PlayStation, had a PS2. PlayStation's really where I started, it was my main hobby. There's so many great games, and I really play all kinds of games, and it started on the PlayStation. Like I started playing Madden, started playing like SmackDown, started playing Tekken, Soul Calibur 2 on the PS2. I know we have some fond memories of that one.
Oh yeah.
Just so many great games. And then, Sony killed it with the PS2, one of the greatest systems of all time. And then it just continued until now with the PS5. And so, yeah, that's kind of the gaming genesis. It's just it's a beautiful story. And it all started with the Sega Genesis. Oh, yeah. And the first game I can remember playing is probably Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
I was blown away by all the blast processing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful game.
Yes. Yeah, not as good as Sonic 2, which is amazing. Like, a lot of people, it's strange because when you go back to certain games, like on the PS3 generation or PS2 or PS1, it's like, it's not really all that, it's not as good as you remember. But if you go farther back into the SNES, you could play Super Mario World right now and have fun. And you could play Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles and have fun. And you could get into them. So they haven't gotten worse with time. And so,
I think that's what we call a classic, right?
Yeah, well, because there are classics that you can't really go back and play GoldenEye 64. I dare you.
I wouldn't call that a classic.
I dare you.
I love the game, man. I played the crap out of it. But I don't know.
Zach, I need you. GoldenEye 64. Classic
Fantastic.
or not? Okay.
Fantastic and a classic.
It's a
Okay.
classic. Okay.
That's
I
two to
have to
one.
say it's a
That's
classic,
2
but
to
it
1.
definitely hasn't held up for sure.
No,
I've played it recently. My neighbors,
No.
it does not hold up.
You can't do it. Don't
It's
do
rough.
it to yourself.
It is rough.
Let it live on in your memory as something
Being
that is
amazing.
that is not anymore.
I think, man, that game was beautiful. Wasn't that one of the first games where you could open a stall and shoot someone sitting on a toilet? Am I wrong, or that was it, right? That was like the first game I remember.
I don't remember because I only really played the multiplayer.
Yeah, same. I don't think I done much.
You didn't
my
play the story,
opponents-
okay?
None of my
Yeah.
opponents.
You got these two calling it a classic, but they never played the
did that.
story. Okay.
story of Golden.
I mean, that's like
I
saying
played
you
the
play
story,
Call of Duty
and I don't
franchise
call
for
it a
the story,
classic.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody-
A classically good time, I'll call it. All right, Zach, what about you, man? Where do you come from?
So I started out with Nintendo, so not Sega, with Game Boy, just the regular Game Boy. My friend of my grandma's friend's son had a Game Boy, and we were going on a little adventure. I don't know where we were going. All I remember from that trip is seeing what was in his hand and being like, I have to play that. Do you mind if I borrow it for a second? And I don't think he got it back the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
Now, was this a regular Game Boy or color or advance?
This was a regular Game Boy.
Wow.
So,
Wow,
yeah,
throwback. Okay.
yeah. And then it led into Game Boy Color with Pokemon was my first actual console that I owned. Obviously, Pokemon Gold with Pikachu, classic. No, Yellow.
Pokemon Yellow.
Classic. The cool kid on the playground. Everyone else had red or blue, so had to go with the gold. Had to flex, or yellow. Had to flex on a little bit, which was awesome. And then later on, led into the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, with Tony Hawk Pro Skater was the game that really pulled me into video games and consoles, and really helped shape more than just my gaming culture, but like my music taste as well. And
yeah, that soundtrack was awesome, man.
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
that was
man.
like that was the thing about the game was just the soundtrack was incredible.
Yeah.
Like that's what everybody remembers, so it's awesome. And then PlayStation 2 was when I started to form into more of my story gaming career, and my preferences of story games, from like Spider-Man and getting to swing around New York City was so much fun.
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Absolutely memorable. And then PlayStation 3 was when I really got into gaming with my friends. So with Black Ops, played a lot of Black Ops and a lot of first-person shooters, which was great. Those lobbies were rough, though. Let me tell you, the voice chat lobbies.
Oh, they still are. They still are.
But it's not anywhere close to what it used to be, though. Like it was rough. Like if you guys remember, it was awful.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember being called things I never knew existed.
Never wanted to ever be thought of being called. Yeah, it was great. And then PlayStation 4. I mean, you've got the classics like The Last of Us. Some more indie games, and then now with the PlayStation 5 that I was lucky enough to get not too long ago, and digging into Spider-Man Miles Morales and seeing just how far we've come visually in the video game industry is a sight to behold.
Oh yeah,
incredible
It is
game.
absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you both got to play it. It's really cool.
You'll get there eventually. Dave. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you
I
there.
platinumed that game. I love that game. I platinumed Spider-Man.
Man, that game's gonna be free by the time I get a PS5. I'll tell you what. That game's gonna be on Xbox Game Pass by the time I get a PS5.
To promote the next Spider-Man, yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Goodness gracious. Well, yeah, that's awesome, Zach. Excellent coming of age tale. Starting with Pokemon Yellow. I remember, man, when I got Pokemon Yellow, and everybody, like you said, coolest kid on the playground. Everybody there had blue or red, and
Absolutely.
I came to school the next day with Yellow, and I was like, "Look, guys, I got the same game, but Pikachu follows me. What up?"
Essentially the same game.
Absolutely.
And it didn't matter. Yeah, it was essentially the same game.
Really just the same game.
Well, so the red version and the blue version each had different Pokemon that you could only catch in each version, but then yellow you could catch both of them on the same version, which didn't even matter because at that point, if Zach, maybe you're even similar to me, I'd had both red and blue and caught all of the Pokemon and traded them myself to have them on both versions, so it didn't even matter. But anyway,
completed that Pokédex.
It made you cool to have that little Pikachu following you. Anyway,
Nintendo kids, man.
So yeah, speaking of Nintendo kids, that's how my story starts.
When you allow that, when you allow a company to sell you the same game twice with minor differences, you have the Nintendo kids of today.
Oh, so you're talking about Spider-Man right now?
All the stuff they're allowed.
Okay, Sony kids. All right, Sony kids. So anyway, speaking of Nintendo, that's where my story starts. And, the first game I do remember playing was on, the original Nintendo Famicom system, Mario. And, I don't remember it too much, but I do remember it being the first, game I ever played. What really brought it home for me was the Super Nintendo, though. I played almost every game on the Super Nintendo that you could get your hands on, and some of the fondest memories to me were, speaking of Hiya Hiya Guy, A Link to the Past. And man, the Zelda, A Link to the Past really has a lot of fond memories. I remember just laying on the bed with my dad and my brother, and we would each take turns playing this game every week to try and beat it faster than we did the week before. One of us would have the strategy guide yelling out, "Hey, you need to go here, you need to go there," and someone else would be playing and someone else would be watching. But we had a lot of fun with that game. And then another one I played, a little kind of a polar opposite of that, was Super Metroid. And those two games right there are really the culmination of what started me as a gamer. And moving on from there, the PlayStation, the next big thing that really changed me and evolved me as a gamer was the PlayStation, and it was Final Fantasy VII. And I remember my neighbors, we didn't have any kind of games like that at the time. And a neighbor of ours said, "Hey, we bought this game for our kids, but they don't really like it. So we wanted to know if your kids wanted to try it out." And that was how the story went. So they brought over the game, and man, we popped it in, and immediately, oh my goodness, the world changed. We were so into this. Me and my brother loved the crap out of this game, played it nonstop. Man, Final Fantasy VII. And then, of course, I started playing every other Final Fantasy I could get my hands on. But that's pretty much my core of what started me and who I am. But nowadays, I play anything I can get my hands on. I love game design, mechanics, new things, new systems, puzzles, anything that I can digest and really just get my hands on. I want to. But favorite series right about now is anything Dark Souls, Sekiro, any of these games I absolutely fell in love with. So that is my story. Anything you'd like to add?
I would like to add that a paradigm shifting game for me was Final Fantasy X.
10. Oh,
I love 10. I loved games at that point, like I said, but my dad just randomly has all these games. He buys them for us, but he does it they're his, and he doesn't really play them. And he just had Final Fantasy X. I was just staying there over the summer, and I was just bored one day, just not doing anything. And I was like, all right, pop this game in.
Okay.
It was the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and
that's
still the best one I've ever played.
That's right.
Yeah.
What?
I had Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I had Final Fantasy VII, but my mother wouldn't let me play it. Same as Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
It was I don't know. It was rated teen, and maybe I wasn't at the time, or something like that, or I don't know. And the crazy thing is, I didn't even put up a fight because I didn't know
how good it was.
Missing.
Yeah.
There's no way for you to know that.
There's no way. So I'm I don't know anything about this. I saw my friends play Final Fantasy VIII, and
it was
8. Yeah, 8's the one. And I remember watching. They were playing. They were passing the controller back and forth. I was just watching, and I remember thinking, this is the lamest crap.
What's this turn-based battle system?
I
do you mean
remember
tap
asking, I
X
was
to
like,
attack once?
So like, what? You attack him, and then he attacks you, and it's like, yeah. And I was like, how is that fun? There's so many other games where you can attack and defend at the same time. What? They were like, well, it's
Mr.
strategy.
Fighting Game expert.
And
over
I was
here.
like, how is it strategy? I was like, whoever attacks first wins. It was like, well, not necessarily. I was like, okay, well, whoever attacks first and has the highest HP wins. And like, because they weren't as good as I am, they weren't able to explain to me why it was so good. But once I played Final Fantasy X, I knew. I knew immediately.
You understood.
It's still my favorite game of all time. It's one of the best games ever made. It's one of the best stories. The first Final Fantasy with voice acting. One of the best graphics.
Yeah.
Just everything about it. The battle system, everything.
I've heard a lot of people, didn't really like 10 that much, and it just blows.
Those people are stupid.
Yeah, it blows my mind, man.
Yeah.
You cannot deny how amazing and beautiful that game is, just graphically, and how many leaps they took from 9 to 10 is just astounding. And man, what really sold me on it, and the music is always a beautiful part of a Final Fantasy game. But this was the first Final Fantasy game that had a metal song in it, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, they're playing Blitzball right there. The waves coming from Sin, and this guy's just go now. If you want it, the other one will take you. I'm like, I'm, air guitaring along with this thing, and oh god, it's so good.
Still the best soundtrack of any. It's between that and 7, obviously. When you have One Winged Angel, it's kind of tough to beat, but still, at least one of the best soundtracks of any RPG, really. Persona 5 is coming hot and heavy.
Ooh,
but that's a great one too.
Ooh.
So hey, but I can't say that any of them are bad, really. I mean, they're all wonderful, wonderful.
So that's why they keep getting to make them.
And I mean, David, you hit on it briefly, but I just had one word to describe how good that game was, and that would be Blitzball.
That was so fun, man.
Blitzball is so much fun, dude. I loved everything about it.
So the first time I played 10, I didn't want anything to do with Blitzball. I'm not really a sports person for any of our viewers. I'm not really into sports or even sports video games. I'd rather go out and physically play.
I'm not a soccer person.
I'd rather go out and physically play a game of football.
If you make them play underwater, I might watch.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
I watch.
So, I didn't want anything to do with Blitzball, but the second time I played Final Fantasy X, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And damn if that shit isn't fun, right? Holy crap, fun. Man. If they could just make a Blitzball game, and I don't know why they haven't, put it more in depth, just make a Blitzball game. I'd buy that shit in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's already sold.
All right, well, now that we're all acquainted, I think it's time to talk about some industry news. And right now, one of the biggest topics has to be Bethesda's acquisition from Microsoft. So,
yes.
Any thoughts on that? I mean, we can go ahead and I'll just go ahead and talk about this article real quick. According to USA Today,
that's big. They know what they're talking about over there.
Microsoft completes acquisition of Bethesda. Some games will be exclusive. Microsoft completed its deal to acquire Bethesda Softworks' parent company, ZeniMax Media, and future games from the studio might be exclusive to Xbox and PC. On Tuesday, Microsoft confirmed its acquisition of ZeniMax for $7.5 billion has closed, officially making the video game company a part of Xbox. Alright, the acquisition includes 8 studios that have worked on games including Fallout, Wolfenstein, The Elder Scrolls, Dishonored, and Dune. Quote, our goal is to give these teams the best foundation for doing their greatest work and to learn from them as we continue to build Xbox into an inclusive platform for all players, said Xbox head Phil Spencer in a statement. Microsoft also paid tribute to Robert A. Altman, the co-founder and CEO of ZeniMax, who died earlier this year. I will miss the opportunity to work directly with him on the future of our combined teams, but I know that his spirit will live on in the shared work we do and motivate us to make partnership all he envisioned, end quote, said Spencer. The acquisition of ZeniMax bolsters both Xbox as a gaming platform and Game Pass, a Netflix-style subscription service offering access to dozens of games for a monthly fee. As a part of the deal, Spencer said Microsoft will bring additional Bethesda games to Game Pass later this week. What are your thoughts, comments, concerns?
So I think the first thing we should do is so that the audience knows where we're coming from. What are your favorite like Bethesda games? Because a lot of this doesn't matter to me, and then some of it matters a lot.
Yeah.
So
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So Zach, like, what are your favorite
Out of
Bethesda
all of those, I'd
games?
say probably the Fallout series. I've dabbled in Skyrim, and that's gonna trigger a lot of people. That I'm not
Yeah.
a hard Skyrim fan because
I don't know how one dabbles in Skyrim. I thought it was like 200 hours plus or nothing.
exactly.
So it was nothing, is what he's saying, Anre.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So like, I enjoyed what I played of it, but I don't know. I just couldn't really get into it fully, like how everyone else did. But Fallout was always the one that always pulled me in, and I didn't want to leave the world. So that one, and then like the Wolfenstein games, I really enjoy those a lot. And Evil Within, to a degree. So that one can go either way. But I really enjoyed what I played of those games as well. So, because I'm definitely a Horde fan when it comes to video games, and so that was a good entry into the horror genre of video games, and I liked what they did with it, and would like to be able to see what they do with it in the future. But obviously, having a PS5 and not an Xbox could potentially be a little problematic moving forward. So,
yeah. So for me, I mean, Fallout. Love the Fallout series. Big fan of Fallout. I even played a little bit of Fallout 76, but we'll just say dabbled there, like Zach, and you guys will get an understanding of how far I took it. Elder Scrolls, Skyrim. I did play a little bit of Oblivion. We'll go dabbled with that one too. Skyrim, I played a lot of Skyrim. I played over 200 hours of Skyrim, we'll say. And I even got the PSVR version of it and played that for a while. Though I won't say that I took VR to 200 hours. It was really cool playing it in VR. I will say that was a fun little experience. And it would have been even better. I probably would have enjoyed it more had I just played the whole entirety of it in VR for me. And Doom, I love the Doom series. Man, Doom, I've played Doom since it was, Windows, 95, I don't know. I played a crap load of Doom, Wolfenstein. Man, I remember hopping on my dad's computer and playing Wolfenstein, and it was on a floppy disk, man, just a huge-ass floppy disk, and I had to find that shit too, man, because, it was just like Mortal Kombat for that one.
Floppy disk.
What's a floppy disk? Holy shit, let me tell you.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, man. Think of a CD, but it's square and floppy.
Very perfect.
I know.
Very, very big.
And back then, they were even bigger.
Sounds like a weird lunch meat that I don't want to eat.
Yeah. Let's have a floppy disk sandwich, huh? Side of mayonnaise and tomato. No, but yeah, man, they were on. It was on a floppy disk, and I had to find that. And it was, man, they were huge. And eventually, over time, they got even smaller. But man, the original ones were huge. And I had to sift through my dad's desk, find that, pop it in, and damn, was I having a good time seeing pixelated blood fly across the screen. I don't know why people freak out on a maturity level about blood like that, because honestly, it doesn't really look like blood. But I digress. I don't know. So yeah, Wolfenstein was a great one, and Doom, loved those. That was my first ever God mode experience on Doom. Man, you just, you hit that little squiggly button and you type in God or whatever the text was you needed, and damn, you could do anything. You had unlimited ammo. You couldn't die. You put on what's called no clip, and you'd fly through the screen. Go around, just teleport to the other side if you wanted to, man. Fond memories of some of those older games. And Evil Within, I played a little bit of that. That was the first one anyway. It was fun, but it did not grab me like Dead Space, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and one of just the best horror games, I think, especially sci-fi horror that have ever been created. But Evil Within was fun for what it was, and I honestly actually should go back and take a little time to experience it further, I feel. What about you, Anre? What do you think?
Not going to take that long because really
Yeah.
only Fallout and Skyrim. Not even really the Elder Scrolls, just Skyrim. Played a lot of Skyrim. Played it on the PS3, the Game of the Year edition, where it had all the DLC. So I became a vampire or werewolf. Did all
Yep.
the crazy DLCs where they ask you to go somewhere. Like, where are we going? Like, don't worry, we're going to another map. And you do all that crap.
Yeah.
And it was very good. I played a lot of time in there, and I really liked Fallout 3. That was the first Fallout for many people, me included. I'm
Yeah,
not
me
going to
too.
click on some isometric thing.
Okay.
I'm glad it existed so they could learn how to make a real game like Fallout 3. But New Vegas was amazing. Obsidian made that.
Yep.
Just way better than Fallout 3 to me. Better than Fallout 4, even though Fallout 4 is newer and on the PS4. I did play Fallout 4. I beat it. I loved it. It's a great game. I would say it's like a natural progression from Fallout 3, but for some reason New Vegas feels better. Always kind of has. And projecting forward, I was interested and still am interested in Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that may be. I don't think they.
Yeah, so I was going to
revealed
mention, we're
where
talking
they
about
go with
games that we enjoy by Bethesda that could potentially not exist on PlayStation anymore. Games like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo that have already been promised a spot on PlayStation will still make their way to the PlayStation. But what do you think of the fate of future games such as Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield are going to mean now that Bethesda has been acquired by Microsoft?
I mean, it has to. I mean, for what'd you say, $7 billion? I feel like they have to have some.
Yeah.
They have to have some exclusive content for it to be worth $7.5 billion. Like, there's no way. In my personal opinion, I don't think that after whatever contract they have runs out with, or whatever the deal is between Sony and Bethesda right now, whenever the full transaction goes through with Microsoft and Bethesda, I feel like there's going to have to be some exclusive games that aren't going to come to PlayStation moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. I think there's two sides to that. There's the side you pointed out where it's like they paid so much money for it, way more than that company's worth, in my opinion. They paid so much more for it that you would think that they're going to make every game exclusive as possible. And then there's the other side where people are like, well, they paid so much money for it, they need to get that money back. And the best way to do that is put it on as many platforms as possible. And there are more PS5s. To this point, it's probably 2-to-1 ratio, maybe 3-to-1 than there are Xbox, because it's still the market leader. Since the initial announcement, Phil Spencer has been more clear, but not as clear as he could be, when he says things like, there are going to be games, Bethesda games, that are going to be exclusive to platforms with Game Pass. And when he says that, obviously you say, well, that's Xbox and PC. He didn't just say, hey, I don't know if he can do this, but he didn't just say, hey, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, all these games never coming out on the PlayStation. He didn't say that. I don't know why he didn't, because I feel like if Sony did this, they would say, yeah, these are PlayStation exclusives, point blank, no room for interpretation. But Phil kind of heads because he's like, well, there might be some legacy games that might come to other systems, and I don't know what other systems mean. Could just mean Nintendo, could mean PlayStation.
Yeah, what does legacy games mean?
Really,
Fallout
I don't
2?
know what legacy. Yeah,
Fallout 1.
Exactly. Yeah, you can, depending on what you want to believe, you can lean one way or the other. Me, I tend to believe that the newest games are going to be
the most
Xbox and
relevant.
PC exclusive.
Yeah.
So could they do? Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. So could they? Do you think it would be possible for them to do it kind of how Sony has their exclusive setup right now, to where eventually, I mean, they already have PC though, so it wouldn't make any sense. But after a certain amount of time, that it becomes a quote legacy game that would be available to purchase on.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, wouldn't that kind of be what seems like Sony's doing right now?
Exactly.
Kind of. I mean, there's been like 2 games like that. One that's come out. I mean, I don't really count Death Stranding as one because that's a second party game. Like they don't own. Kojima Productions is not a first party studio. Sony doesn't own that. They do own Guerrilla Games, and so when Horizon Zero Dawn came out for the PC, that became the first like game they've owned to be on a PC, not through PS Now, not through PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
And what's the newest game they're going to do that with? I think I forgot.
I'm not sure.
There's a game they announced that they're going to do that too, or maybe it's just heavily rumored. But yeah, I think they're going to do that selectively to market future games. Like Horizon Forbidden West is coming out eventually, hopefully later this year, maybe early 2022. And so, like they've already sold as much as they're going to sell of Horizon. And so putting it on PC is kind of smart because you get more people interested. And it's like, all right, well, if you like that, we have this new one, but you got to buy a PS5. It's never going to be like, all right, this game comes out on a PS5, 6 months later it's on PC. You know, it's never gonna be that way. It might be Days Gone, the game I'm thinking of, but anyway.
I just looked it up. You're right.
Days Gone? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but then I was like, who cares? Like, why would? But I mean, but no, I've heard that game is great enough. I should give it a chance, and I'm sure once I have a PlayStation again, you know, it's free right now, right? Or it's on the, you know, I will definitely check it out when I can get a PS5. Hopefully tomorrow, but probably not.
To your point, Zach. To your point. That's kind of like the having your cake and eating it too, which would be smart in a way where it's kind of like, all right, this game is an exclusive for Xbox. We can hold it, you know, Xbox and PC. We can hold it as long as we want because we own it. Let's say Elder Scrolls 6, right? Yep. We can hold it as long as we want. And then 2 years down the line, maybe we say, okay, you PlayStation peasants, you can have it. After everybody's already finished it, you can have it at full price, you know, $70 for a 2-year-old game, you know, and or there's, you know, they could just say, hey, the games they've already announced they're going to be on Game Pass, so they could say, hey, you could buy it day one, $70 for the PlayStation 5, or you can get it for free because you have to own Game Pass. It's not free, but you can get it for free with Game Pass, you know? So they have a lot of different avenues they're going to do. I just, you know, I think he hedges, Phil Spencer, whenever he speaks, he hedges because they don't know what they want exactly yet. They don't know what's best yet. But if I were to say, like, if you're a PlayStation fan and you only have a PlayStation, I would just say, like, you should just prepare yourself that it's not coming, you know, and that's okay. You know, if you're a PlayStation fan, you don't have to be a fanboy to be a fan. But if you play primarily on PlayStation, like I do, and you know you don't plan on getting an Xbox, you don't plan on gaming on PC, you've had a lot of wins in the past few years, and now you might just have to take a loss. That's just, you know, you don't have to pretend like you didn't like these games, you didn't care about them. You don't have to pretend that, you know, Skyrim sucks or, you know, Fallout sucks. You don't have to pretend. You just be like, hey, I wanted to play it, I can't. There's still way more talent as far as developing on Sony's side, and Microsoft, what they have is deep pockets. They don't have $7.5 billion. I mean, they do, but they don't really. Game Pass, the model just can't make any money, but they don't care because, yeah, like Microsoft, the Xbox division is almost it's almost like a game for them. No pun intended, but it's almost like an experiment. They could just shut down Xbox division tomorrow, and their shareholders wouldn't care because they all their money is related into to so many other things.
Microsoft really has so much money that they can do whatever the hell they want with it and just not be negatively impacted by anything in any way. They have the money to take risks. They have the money to take chances. My thought is, what's up?
Especially because their competitors, Nintendo and Sony, they're multi-billion-dollar corporations. They got a lot of money, but they don't have Microsoft money.
Right.
So in the gaming space, they're the big giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my thought is, I agree. They're not buying this studio for $7.5 billion just to not fucking do something with it, right? They need to make a name for themselves. They need to start acquiring studios and making first-party studios if they want to be relevant and make it to where people are going to buy their console to play their games. Because otherwise, if they're sitting with the shit they got right now, which is not Halo, I'm not going to buy one, right? And all of this has me wondering, what is Microsoft planning? Acquiring studios is great. You got to get somewhere, but are they going to start making their own first-party studios? Is Bethesda finally taking the steps they need to become a contender with Sony first-party games, or was the Bethesda acquisition just a luck chance? What do you think might be other studios Microsoft should start looking into acquiring?
So they did, I want to say 2 years ago, they bought a bunch of studios, and they also created a studio. I think they created a studio in Santa Monica, California. That's going to be like their number one studio. They bought some studios and then they created a bunch. And now I don't know where these games are. I know it typically takes around 3 years to make a game, but they launched an entire system with no games, which is amazing. They bought all these studios out, and then 2 years later they released, the Xbox Series X, and there were no games. There's not even a promise of games. The only promise was Halo Infinite, which, Halo, you Halo fans can.
It got pushed back.
No better than me, but it got delayed. So, a lot of people didn't like it anyway. Then it got delayed. So, but they, presumably they are working on first party games. And that's why I think this whole Bethesda thing, because the whole thing is like, well, Xbox has no games. Is Xbox really going to spend $7.5 billion to stop a meme that Xbox has no games? Apparently so, because if those games remain third party, even if the money goes more to Xbox because they own the studio, if it's available on both PlayStation and Xbox, it's still third party. And then what's the reason to get an Xbox besides Game Pass? And a lot of people really like Game Pass. It's it's a very good deal. But a lot of gamers don't want a game that way. And the industry keeps telling us, and it's objectively a good service if you want to game that way. But like the industry says, this is a good service. Sony needs to do this. Sony needs to do that. Microsoft, their Game Pass is killing it. But the market keeps telling us that people don't care. And what I mean is more people care about PlayStation 5's quality games. Mm-hmm. Every year, 2 games that are going to dominate game of the year, that are going to be 9s and 9.5s and 10s, et cetera, et cetera. These tentpole games 2 times, 3 times a year. And then smaller games in between there. The way that PlayStation 4 sold, and the way that PS5 is selling and outselling the Xbox One X, Series X, my God, these names. The market is telling us that they care more about the quality of these games than they do about playing a myriad of like games for a small monthly fee. I don't know what the monthly fee is. I assume like something like $15. But like, yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what Microsoft does. If I were Microsoft, I would say I would put it on PlayStation platforms. I could say you could get this a year later for $70, or you can get it now for free with Game Pass. That's what I would do. I would have my cake and eat it too, because then you put the game out later for people that want to wait on the console with the biggest install base, and the ones that you can put on Switch, I'd put it on Switch. But then you give your fans, your people, a games. You give them exclusive content, and that's why I don't think you can. I see a lot of people, and we can talk about this next, but I see a lot of people, don't like. They're hating on Xbox because they don't like exclusives. They don't like this type of exclusive, that type of exclusive. And I'm like, Xbox can tell you all they want, about how they're for the gamers. PlayStation does that. They're about making money, and they're about their gamers. They're about Xbox gamers.
Mm-hmm.
They're about making sure the people that buy their product are happy. They don't care about PlayStation gamers in so much, except for, if they want to convert them to Xbox gamers. They don't care how people firing up their PlayStation 5s are doing, only, they hope they're having a bad time, and then they look at the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, that's basically it. And it goes back to the whole Spider-Man thing. Like, it's not Sony's job to make sure everybody has access to an iconic character. It's Sony's job to make sure Sony's fans are happy using Sony's console, And if you disagree with that, that's fine. But if you think it should be another way, that's just naive. That's just naive, And if a company does something consumer friendly, gamer friendly, it's because it helps them make money.
So Zach, what do you think? Does Microsoft need to make exclusives, or are they okay just taking free money from people?
I think they have a mix of both.
Okay.
Again, because like you guys talked about earlier, they have enough money they can do whatever they want. They're like the Amazon of the video game industry.
Yeah, they can start making games and then cancel them.
Which is like the whole thing is like they don't care. How many games have we seen that were going to be Xbox exclusives that just get canceled?
Hey man, I was about to mention there was this badass game about a dude with a cassette player on a dragon that I thought looked
it's the
dope.
Exact same game I was talking about.
I thought it looked awesome.
Yes.
The only game I can think of is Scalebound.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the one.
It? Yeah. That's the only. No lie, that's the only Xbox game I looked at, and I was like, "Oh man, I wish that was coming to PlayStation."
Yeah.
And then it got canceled. It got canceled. Any halfway decent game gets canceled.
And that was the one that was like, you know what? That one might convince me somehow to get an Xbox. If that one comes out, I want to play that game, and I might break down and buy an Xbox. But with that being said, they canceled it. So, I feel like they need to make more exclusives like that to where they get consumer base based off of like what gamers actually want, which is awesome games. Right now, they're just doing good business moves, I guess. Because if you're a Bethesda fan, then it's like, hey, I have to get an Xbox or I have to play on PC eventually. But right now, I don't see any games that really are pulling the attention of the video game industry that hold enough value that it's like, hey, I have to have an Xbox.
Yep.
To play this.
This makes me ask again. It makes me ask the question: what is Microsoft planning? This wasn't the only big acquisition that Microsoft is looking at. According to Business Insider, Microsoft is in talks to buy chat app Discord for more than $10 billion, according to reports. Microsoft is considering buying Discord, the voice chat and messaging app that has boomed in popularity during the pandemic, for more than $10 billion. Bloomberg and the New York Times both reported Tuesday. Discord has held talks with Microsoft and other potential buyers, but no deal is imminent. People familiar with the matter told both publications. Quote, I know they are in active discussions with select few parties, end quote. One person told GamesBeat, quote, the market is in a state where they could command strong double-digit billions of dollars, end quote. One of the people told Bloomberg that said Discord was more likely to go public than to sell itself. The reports of a possible acquisition come from within. Former Pinterest executive Thomas Makinchowski joining Discord as its first chief financial officer. Discord raised $100 million in a funding in around June, and the New York Times reported that investors valued the app at $7 billion in December. Microsoft and Discord declined Bloomberg's and the New York Times request for comment. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
So first of all, great transition, dude. That was absolutely flawless.
Oh, thanks.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Pro quality right there. Second of all, did you just say another $7 billion?
They're posed to buy it for 10 is what they're suggesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. First of all, I just want to say I'm impressed by just the sheer amount of money just being thrown around and not doing anything with it, with no plans. I feel like that's pretty impressive. I've never seen a company just throw money around like that just to, as of right now, appear to just waste it.
Well, so I won't say that. I don't think that it would be a waste to buy Discord. Look at Discord, man. Everyone uses Discord nowadays. It's crazy. They're using it for everything. Work, people are using it for work. People are using it for gaming. People are using it for streaming, creating content. Discord is I remember, it used to be TeamSpeak, all these other ones. Discord is miles above any other chat program I've ever had the pleasure of using. I love Discord, and it's free. Discord is free. You don't have to pay a dime for it. You can do Nitro, spend a little bit of money to get a server boost. I'm not sure exactly what that entails. But buying... Now, they said it was worth $7 million, roughly. Discord is worth $7 million. I don't think offering... What was it? Oh, it was 10 billion or 10 million. No, it's 10 billion. 10
billion.
So that's a lot of money for a program that is only worth $7 million at the moment, which is crazy to me. I think it should be worth even more than that. But I guess being free, just the fact that the program is free to use to everyone, the fact that it's worth $7 million is actually pretty impressive now that I think about it. But $10 billion, what do they plan to do with Discord if they're planning to spend $10 billion to get it now? It has a lot of people worried. Is now that Microsoft's planning to buy it, if they do, are we going to be starting to be charged a monthly fee to use Discord? What do you guys think this means if they were to acquire it?
So to go deeper into what I was saying, it was more so the fact, we have no idea what their plans are.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they've entirely wasted what they're doing. It's just as of right now, what they seem to be doing, it just seems to be a wasted opportunity for them to make even more money than they possibly could be making currently. Was what my initial thought process was.
Well, a lot of people would say that about buying Bethesda, but you don't see them not buying Bethesda.
With that combination of Discord and Bethesda, they just seem to be wasting money because they don't have as of right now, as of March 28th, 2021, they don't seem to have a plan with anything that they are spending money on. It just seems like they're just throwing money at things and hoping for the best.
The Discord thing is weird to me because, one, I'm not entirely sure this happens. It's a rumor. They've been rumored to buy a lot of things. All right, they've been rumored to buy a lot of things for a long time. Shout out to Sega. But they could buy this. First of all, if they offer Discord $10 billion, Discord should take it because Discord is not worth anywhere close to $10 billion. Discord has, I'm sure they're doing well, but how are they going to make? How are they going to make money off of this? There's no monetization path for Discord. Most of the people using their services are using it for free. I mean, I guess you could put ads on here. I don't even, I don't see any ads when I use Discord. So I guess you could add the ads. Like you mentioned, David, there's Nitro, but I don't see how doing this is going to, is going to make them money. And if they do buy it, it has to be for something way more important than their Xbox division. So we'll see. If I would have, my official prediction is it does not happen.
Yeah.
Just
Let's
It
hope
just
not.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a rumor. I don't see because but you say
Are you asking what would they do with it if they bought it? Like, what's the purpose? Is that what you're asking?
because you can't can you really charge for this? Well, people
Sure,
would just go to
Another service.
but
another
another
Absolutely.
service.
service doesn't exist. Not as good as Discord.
Not as
People,
good as Discord, but
I could tell you right now, if they slapped a price on Discord, depending on the price, I don't think it would be too crazy. I would pay the price for it right now. If Microsoft, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, maybe Microsoft's listening and is like, yeah, gotcha.
Oh, now we know. Now we know.
But if they slapped a $5 fee a month to use Discord, I'd pay it in a heartbeat. You know, just because of how user friendly Discord is, and just how well the audio quality and the video quality is. Now I got to tell you, I was a Full Sail student. I went for game art, and when I was there, I heard that Discord was made from a Full Sail student a few years prior to me going to Full Sail. So a Full Sail student made Discord. Now, I don't know who it is or what he's doing with his life, but from a lot of Full Sail students, I understand that some are very successful, some are not. But anyone can use $10 billion, you know?
Easily.
yeah, like I
So
said,
it's either getting the
that-
money or having the integrity. He just loves the program so much and just wants it to be free and for the people, by the people, and he doesn't need the money. Whether it's $10 billion or $10 million, it might be something that this person holds dear and just doesn't want to sell. And we can hope for that, but
Yeah, I would hope that Microsoft is not actually attempting to buy this for $10 billion, because if they are, I would sell it, and then I would laugh a few months later
when he makes another one.
when three other people make a Discord that's just as good. It's just like a chat service that has video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very reliable, like you said. It's very cool. It's very nice the way it's done, but there's nothing in here that is like super proprietary or super genius.
Innovative, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, nobody else can do this. Like, just tell some of the stuff that already exists to be better, or to add video to their stuff,
No, and I definitely agree with what you both brought up. Was the idea that it wouldn't just be for gaming. Also,
Yeah.
so there's the other side, is like, what else would they be planning? Because it would definitely be, I think, more of a Microsoft move rather than like an Xbox and Microsoft move, rather than just for Xbox specifically. Even
now, I think they could roll, piggybacking off that real quick, they could roll this into the gaming service that they have to be their new talking service, right? And the new party system, whatever they use for voice chat inside of Xbox, and roll that in, and instead of like charging people for it, they just roll it into the monthly fee for using the online services, and it's now become their new program that's used for communication, right? Exactly. That's a possibility. I could see that.
I definitely see that happening.
I don't know, man. They tried to raise Xbox Gold, I think, like a month or so ago, and people went ballistic.
Yeah, man, they got to afford buying Discord, bro.
they immediately retracted that.
That was an awful idea.
They took that back quick. So
now we're no longer Xbox Live. Now we're Xbox Network. So that's fun. But
wow,
I definitely feel like
shades of the PSN.
It would be an interesting move if they did it.
Yeah.
But I definitely have to agree with you, Anre. I don't see that happening, especially for the price that has been mentioned. But with Microsoft, who can really tell?
There are multiple avenues to profit. Not
Hold on, our stuff freaked out for a minute.
Technical difficulties.
So anyway, anything else you want to say on the matter, Zach, while we're waiting for Anre to come back?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like an interesting thing.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
okay.
We need your video, though.
There are multiple.
We need your video, though. Yep. Thank you.
To Bethesda making money. I mean, Microsoft making money with Bethesda. There are multiple avenues, and even if they don't make just direct money, there are multiple ways for them to raise the mind share of something like a Game Pass, raise their prestige among gamers, and that might be worth the money for them. I don't see the avenue for profit or prestige with buying Discord. So that's my last take on it.
Okay.
I also wanted to just ask you real quick, David. Do you think you would still use it if it was like $10 or $15 a month?
Probably that's when I'd probably start looking for Sony's.
Yeah, exactly. Their answer to this, because I feel like with most services nowadays, we're seeing more like an increase in price range. So at $5, I think I could muster up the $5 a month. But if it was anything more, I think
is it even worth it, right?
Whether this was a service that I needed or if it was something that I could just replace with something else.
So that has me asking the question, what is Microsoft planning?
But
maybe one day we'll find out.
Is that the episode name?
That is.
I feel like that's the theme between
I like it. What is Microsoft planning?
Yeah.
What?
We gotta know. Just tell me, please. I can't take
it. Make it make sense.
All right, well, so another bit of game. We'll move on from Microsoft right now, and I wanted to mention that there was the BAFTA Awards last week. They just took place on the 25th, and I wanted to talk about the winners and see what your guys' thoughts were on those. So, first off was Hades. Wow, one of my favorite games of all time now, and it won Best Game. It won awards for Best Game, Game Design, Narrative, Artistic Achievement, and Logan Cunningham won a performer in a supporting role in which he played Hades. What are your thoughts on this?
Best Narrative.
Yeah, it won Narrative, yep. And we just talked about the story over there on the observatory.
Over Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. And I have to agree with that. But did you play Hades? But did you play Hades?
Part 2. No, I watched you play it a bunch. So I feel like I got the story part.
Okay, well, it won the story, man, and you didn't vote, obviously. Maybe you should have. It's like the presidency,
I don't
right?
think I have a BAFTA vote. I don't think I have a BAFTA vote, not yet.
Okay, so we hear Anre's opinion. What about you, Zach? What do you think about Hades winning these?
So I've definitely played a decent amount of Hades. Definitely, I don't think anywhere near as close to you, David. I still have yet to escape hell so far.
Ooh,
so,
wow! You haven't escaped yet. Okay.
I've literally been to the last. I'll tell you how many times, and it's starting to get frustrating at this point that I still have yet to escape. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
I definitely think it's an interesting choice for a narrative, but I will say for the other awards that they did win, I will say that they have won quite a bit of Best Game or Game of the Year awards so far, and I think that it is well deserved.
Well deserved.
With the performance that went into creating and like making that game and everything else in it come to life, because it was definitely a sight to behold, and I think it's only going to change roguelikes in the coming future to emulate what they've created. Just like you guys talked about on the observatory. I mean, Curse of the Dead Gods, right? I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, Curse of the Dead Gods.
Yes,
yeah.
Curse of the Dead Gods.
I mean, it
Curse
seems
of the
like
New Gods.
Direct, I don't want to say a direct spin-off, but it was definitely Hades inspired for sure. So
yeah, there was elements in there, but there's I've been playing more of it since last we last took a look at it, and it's got its own stuff too, but I don't know how well it's gonna hold up in comparison to Hades. I just don't enjoy it as much as Hades. It's fun. I'm having fun with it. It's just not as addicting. It doesn't, like, I'm not like, oh man, I need to go back for another run. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do another run, and then I have fun while I'm playing it. But the thing about Hades was it was so enticing to leave the main hub, go do your thing, go for a run, try to beat Hades, and you come back and there's this story to really absorb. And depending on your actions, what happened? Did you lose? Did Hades beat you? Well, they're gonna say some shit about that, and they're gonna say, hey, you suck, dude, but it's all right. Get back out there. You'll get him next time. And it really was an amazing story, amazing performances vocally all around, and the music was amazing too. I mean, the art, everything about this game, I absolutely loved, and there's just so much replayability to it too because of the heat levels. Most games will just get boring. You're like, okay, I beat Hades 30 times, I'm done. But the fact that there's so many ways and different ways to increase the difficulty, that isn't just, oh, the game's harder now. The heat levels introduce new mechanics for the enemies. It's so beautifully thought and designed that it's just a game that really, it deserves every bit of award that it got. I really agree with that.
I definitely agree.
Yes, it deserves most of the awards.
Okay, Anre.
Amazing game.
I understand where you're at. So now we'll go to the next one. Last of Us Part 2. It won EE Game of the Year, which is a new BAFTA award that they just started doing. And that's a well-deserved title, I think. EE Game of the Year. It's not Best Game. I don't know what the difference is. Game of the Year sounds kind of like Best Game to me. I don't know.
I think the EE Game of the Year, I think, is the public's vote, I believe.
Okay.
I might be wrong in that, so don't take...
Well, I know that you can vote for the EE Game of the Year. That's what they say. You can vote for EE Game of the Year. So does that mean that, every other award is given by the people that run the BAFTAs? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think the BAFTAs has like an academy type thing.
Kind of like an Oscar situation, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so EE Game of the Year. The public voted. Everyone said, fuck you, Hades. We don't agree. Last of Us Part 2, Game of the Year. What do you think of that, Anre?
I think to this point, The Last of Us Part 2 is the most awarded game of the year. I think it's won the most game of the years. And I think it's deserved because I think it's the best game of the year. A lot of people... It has some controversy. It had a truly devastating leak and a devastating rollout.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen to me.
That is just, yeah.
Didn't have to deal with that.
It's just tragic. How many people had their palate spoiled, basically.
Yeah.
Because you go into the game with a preconceived notion. Like, you go in wanting to dislike it. A lot of people. I was able to avoid spoilers, luckily. I was able to avoid that, so I went in there and I loved it. But like, if the first thing you read about, because the people that leak it are haters and they hate the game and they want you to not like it. If the first thing you read about was something very bad happening to a character that you really loved and you're really looking forward to playing, one of the reasons that you're buying this game, you're going to go in there with your arms crossed, like I don't like this. I don't like this. You're just going to be waiting, and then it happens. You're like, I don't like this. And it's just, it's an interesting, like, psychological thing. It's like, well, should it matter if something is spoiled for you? If you and someone who haven't had that spoiled are both playing it from beginning to end, does it matter? And it does. It just does. It messes with your psyche. And there were some people that didn't like it, but didn't get it spoiled for them. It's just the game took a very bold step that they did not have to take in order to sell millions of copies. They did not have to take it in order to rack up awards. They did not have to do that. They could have done a straight revenge plot, all right, we're going to give Ellie a reason to be, murder girl, and we're going to...
I have to step in here a second and say that, honestly, I feel like if they didn't, I don't think they would have made a game that won awards and whatnot. I think if they would have just said, okay, spoiler alert, Joel doesn't die, I don't think that would have been the same game, as important of a game, as fun of a game. So
I was talking less about. I mean, Joel dying is a very huge moment. They didn't have to do that. They could have found another way, but that would have been real safe. I wouldn't expect that from Naughty Dog. So Joel dying is huge, but it's not unexpected. what's unexpected is Abby and having you play as Abby.
Yeah, definitely.
Spoilers for Game of the Year.
Okay, so unspoilers now. You can listen back.
Yeah.
It's safe zone now. If for some reason you haven't played The Last of Us Part 2 yet, or haven't heard about it from somebody else, then you're safe to start listening to us again. Go ahead.
Also, good job avoiding everything. Avoiding
no kidding. Yeah. Wow. You deserve a BAFTA.
Yeah. You're the real MVP.
Yeah, man, I remember I didn't even know about, real quick, I didn't even know about the spoiler, the big leak that happened. But I remember I was not on social media for 2 weeks prior to the release of this because I didn't give a shit. I didn't want it spoiled by anyone. I didn't want to know a single thing about this game because that's how amazing the first game was, and I knew this one was going to blow it out of the water. I did not want it spoiled. So I feel bad for the people that didn't play it as safe as I did and were still playing it as safe as should have been needed and got spoiled. It's terrible,
Yeah, I agree. I think as long as you don't go looking for spoilers, you shouldn't find them.
Yeah.
Basically. And I think you have to trust the websites you go on. And, I wasn't on Twitter, but if you don't want to be spoiled for something, you just can't use Twitter. That's just the bottom line. Like if you're watching a TV show, let's say you're watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and like you don't want to be spoiled for it, well then you better watch it when it comes out, or don't be on Twitter. Like or don't mind.
Yeah.
Just one of those three things.
All right, getting back on track here though. So that wasn't the only award The Last of Us 2 won. They also won. Now that was from the people, I guess we deduced, right? EE Game of the Year. They won animation awards for animation, and Laura Bailey won performer in a leading role as Abby.
Yeah. I believe she won best performer at the Game Awards too. So she's racking them up. I think my girl Ellie should get some love. Whatever.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Laura Bailey did a great job as Abby. The animations in that game are second to none in game. I haven't seen, and some of it is almost ridiculous in its unnecessariness. It's just like do we really need the amazing AAA high quality transitions between swapping one gun to another gun when you're cleaning a gun, or not cleaning a gun, but upgrading a gun? We don't.
Yes.
A lot of yeah, because we got it, and we got it for the same price we would have had, if they just put us in a menu like most games do. So, do you, it's like Red Dead Redemption 2. Do you need horse testicles that shrink in the code?
Yeah,
no, but we got it.
But X gonna give it to you.
That's right.
So what about Laura Bailey as Abby? What do you think of her? What do you think of her performance as Abby?
I just have. All right, so it's gonna be an unpopular opinion, and I know Anre is gonna give me so much shit for this, and it's okay. It's okay. So I haven't tried to say much because I was in the middle of the road with this game. I went into it kind of negative, I'll be honest. Wasn't really excited.
Shame.
Then I started playing it, and I was really enjoying it for the first half. We get to the second half of the game, the switch that I will not say exactly what happens for spoiler reasons up until this point. But you guys know what I'm talking about. We got to that point, and I just kind of lost interest in the game. It kind of just drew me out.
Which was total opposite for me. I was...
Yeah, I see, exactly. Yeah. And I know a lot of people felt that way. But I literally had no interest in doing the second half of the game and going through and playing it because of... I mean, it all has to do with the narrative of the story, which is why I didn't like it, because it kind of just drew me out of what was happening and then just places me somewhere completely different in a place that I never wanted to be in the first place. Just because, like, I know I'm supposed to care about that character, and I'm supposed to care about Laura Bailey as Abby, but like I just never got to the point where I was like, you know what, I like this character or I hate this character. It was more of a I don't care about this character. I have no interest in.
Well, don't worry about it. Last of Us Part 3 will make you care.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, that's the thing. It's like the first game was so good at making me care about Ellie and Joel, and like all the other characters in between. I cared about those characters, but like this one, I don't know. I just
is it because it made you hate the character first?
Yeah,
No.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
No, because I really I would have preferred to hate her, right? I would prefer to
Yeah,
be like,
all the
yo,
way through. You would have preferred to just
all the
hate
way
all the way
through, all
through.
the way
Yeah.
through.
like she's a piece of shit, and then, but like I still never even cared, like really cared about her anyway. I don't know. It was just more of a like, all right, cool, like she's just kind of here, and I don't know why I felt that way, and I don't know what it was exactly. Because I mean, I won't discredit Laura Bailey. She did a great job. Like she was fantastic. Like looking at it from a standpoint of not the character standpoint, but more of an actor standpoint, she did fantastic. It was a flawless performance, but like I think it was more of the writing or more of the like the change in narrative, I guess, was what caused me to just be like, I mean.
Yeah, that whole decision you didn't like.
Yeah.
The interesting thing was it's kind of opposite for me because not only for the reasons that David mentioned, but first of all, we have to acknowledge, for those of you who haven't played or especially haven't beaten The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us Part 2 is a very long game.
Yes.
It is a very long game for a story-driven game. And at a certain point, even though I'm enjoying literally everything about it, the graphics, the gameplay, et cetera, the animations, at a certain point, you're like, it started to be like, all right, are we nearing the end? Because this is a lot. And I start to get used to mechanics. I'm starting to like, all right, I know how Ellie moves. I know how to attack. I'm like, okay, there are no new mechanics. There's nothing new for me to learn. And then that switch happens.
Yeah.
And you get new mechanics. You get new ways of fighting people. You get new combat options. You get new characters to talk to. It is kind of jarring that you basically feel like you're starting over.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're going forward because you're not really. You're starting.
That was a
over
bit of a
with
shock.
someone.
I don't disagree with you. It was a bit of a shock.
It was one of the most shocking moments in gaming. Like the incident that got leaked is shocking, but not nearly as shocking as the middle of the game.
The middle of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Agree.
And so, yeah, for me, it kind of be like a jolt of adrenaline. It's like, all right, we got some new stuff. We got some new mechanics, new weapons. And so, yeah, for me, it kind of got me even more hyped. It's like, okay, I'm back on board.
Yeah.
Even though,
Agreed.
if we're picking teams, I was always Team Ellie.
Yep. Agreed.
And I think that's human nature. You just spend way more time with her than you do.
But I don't even
other
think
character.
the end of the game. We're talking about the end of the game now. If anyone is worried about this, spoiler alert. I don't even think at the end of the game it wants you to pick Abby's team. And it doesn't want you to pick Ellie's team either.
No, it doesn't.
It's such a sour taste, man. I remember beating the game and I just sat on the couch in the dark staring at the ceiling for like 15 minutes, bro. And such a sour. But then, man, it is a masterpiece. It is art. This game, if there's ever been a video game that could be considered art, in my opinion, it's Last of Us Part 2. This is a work of fucking art. It is a masterpiece. And, man, I think it deserves a lot more than what it just got. But at least it's on the list,
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing I don't want to take away from it, because the game was absolutely beautiful. I know a lot of people in the Metacritic review bomb crap that they were doing just all said that the game mechanics were boring and just the same. But I mean,
did you find the first game boring? Because the second was just more better stuff.
Oh, it was much better
Yeah.
than the first game.
I feel like
Absolutely.
But the first game was so much fun, right?
Yeah.
exactly. There was no reason to change it at all,
Yeah.
and that's why I can't agree with that at all. But
I mean, that's why you make a second game, right? You don't make Miles Morales 2 and you're fucking Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
So
and so
buy
like,
that,
the
though.
thing is, I didn't take away from any of that. It was just more of the the story and the narrative of it being like basically trying to teach me a lesson that my parents taught me when I was like 5. Of like,
that's you, Zach, but that's not everybody. And there's a lot of shitty people that need to know that lesson, bro.
Exactly.
Time out. Your parents taught you revenge was bad when you were 5?
Oh yeah,
What kind of life did you lead?
Growing up with a sister, you learn that really fast because
okay,
irritate you. So it's just like, hey, stop! You don't need to be doing this. That's your
in the cycle of hate.
Exactly. Yeah. Just don't let it bother you. Which, I mean, obviously, being a 5-year-old, it's still gonna bother me. But the lesson was learned, and so like in my everyday life now as a grown adult, it's like, yeah, I don't need to do that. I just need it to end where it's at. I mean, kind of thing. So
yeah. I get what you're saying. I think it's kind of reductive to be like, well, yeah, it's just kind of, the story's just kind of revenge is bad. I think the narrative of ending the cycle of hatred is not like some, new idea that Neil Druckmann plucked out of the sky, But just because it's not revolutionary doesn't mean it can't be well done. And I think it was well done.
And I definitely agree. And so like the thing though, with my perspective is like at the end of the first game we had like this huge like what the hell are we supposed to do now kind of thing. Is like, wow, like my mind was blown with the story and like all this stuff was just like, wow. The
end of the first game was better in my opinion.
See, exactly.
It was probably the best ending of any video game.
And see, that was what was disappointing is I was expecting a better story in the second one than we had in the first one, and I felt like they fell short of that, and that was what was frustrating to me the most about the game was like the story wasn't anywhere, in my opinion, in the same ballpark as the first one.
It's crazy. Sure. It's like there were a lot of ways that this game could have ended that would have made a lot of people happy, and Neil was like, no. You don't get to be happy. Ellie doesn't get to be happy.
I'm not happy. Nobody gets to be happy.
Druckmann's not happy.
Nobody, yeah. Naughty Dog, they're leaving the studio angry.
Hey, Dr. Uckman, you're awesome. We love you here at Crown King.
Dr. Uckman?
Yeah. Dr. Uckman, we love you, buddy. Yeah. Can't wait for anything else you come up with in that amazing mind of yours in the future. So okay,
bro, and you know what? If you want to be happy, go play Animal Crossing, bro. Go play Mario.
Which Animal Crossing New Horizons
put in the sequel. Don't put in the sequel to one of the most like depressing games of all time.
And expect to be happy, right?
And then expect Super Mario Sunshine.
So Animal Crossing New Horizons got Game Beyond Entertainment and multiplayer. Speaking of, what do you think of that?
That segue? I think it was dope. Yeah, I think it was much deserved, Animal Crossing.
I haven't played it. I know Zach has.
I'm going to give it an award right now, Game of the Pandemic.
That's I would say, yeah.
What is the Game Beyond Entertainment?
I think it's a game. Maybe you can look it up real quick if you're there.
Like community game, I guess. Like brings people together.
Like what Anre said, the pandemic game. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah,
I definitely feel like that game was incredible.
Perfect timing. Definitely perfect timing.
But the timing of the game's release was
right on time.
No other way they could have released that game, and I don't think it would have gotten anywhere near the amount of attention that it got currently. I know it's a great game because I played it and I loved every second of my experience with it, but I feel like just with like we've been talking about, the timing was just perfect and it really blew it out of proportion for how well the game performed.
Okay, cool. Then so we didn't get to it because of the segue, but Ghost of Tsushima won audio achievement. What do you think of that?
What else?
That's where the line gets drawn there, Anre. I know. Woo!
That's it?
That's it.
Audio achievement?
Yep, that's what they got.
Well, the audio was good. I guess.
Audio achievement, man. I would think Hades above that. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much more to that game.
I want to talk one thing about Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima. most people don't remember video games, even story-driven video games. Even people who play a lot, even people who like story-driven video games, they don't remember them years on. They don't remember them months on. A
I'm a
lot of
testament.
people. Yeah, we were talking about the early God of War games. You didn't like remember that. And these are games you liked. These aren't games.
Yeah.
These are games you beat and you
Yeah.
liked, and maybe in certain cases beat more than once.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima had it's a beautiful open world game. It had a story that was, again, it was not like some crazy newfangled story that came out of nowhere, or like the first person to ever think about this type of narrative, but it was perfect for that type of game. And I remember, this is a testament to the stories. I remember there's like three main companions that you do missions for, and then there are some more, but there's three main ones.
Mhm.
I remember their missions. I remember their overall story.
Yeah, I agree.
remember
I still do too. Yeah.
the archery teacher. I remember the girl that rescued you and her brother.
Yep.
So
The monk.
yeah, I mean the monk. He was a little later, but I remember him.
Yep.
And most of all, I remember the main story.
Hey, man, the game was amazing in all ways.
I think that's an achievement.
Yeah, it was an amazing game for a lot of reasons, and I think it deserves more than audio achievement. But
Yeah.
I digress. Moving on.
It got, to be fair, it got more at other award
okay.
places. So
Okay. Well, next up is Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which won British Game. I guess it was made in Britain. And Family Game. I think that's deserving. Family. I think
that's fair.
I can't wait to play it when I get a PS5 eventually. Never. Carrion as debut game.
I'm not sure what that is.
I'm not either. Sea of Thieves won Evolving Game. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales won Music. What do you think of that? I haven't heard it yet.
The music is dope. It's a great soundtrack. It gets you into the feeling of the character. So yeah,
does its job.
I think it does its job. Yeah.
All right, and Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition is an original property. That's the award they won. Original property. I don't know what it is, but we should probably look it up. And then Dreams won Technical Achievement, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, it is a game that makes games. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It's a technical achievement.
Yeah. So at this point, that's all the awards. I think now it's time to talk about the new releases for next week. We've got Guilty Gear Strive, which is a very interesting looking anime style fighting game. I've had my eye on for a while. What do you think of that?
I've heard of Guilty Gear. It's one of the gaming franchises I haven't played because I can't play all of them. I play like 2 anime fighters. I play Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur. Can't play them all, but I've heard of Guilty Gear. I will just randomly point out that Street Fighter Alpha 3 is still the best fighting game ever made, even though that has nothing to do with Guilty Gear or its upcoming release next week.
Okay. What's that?
Cool. I think the art style looks really awesome. The animations look dope. But due to prior experiences, I have kind of been pushed away from fighting games because I'm not good at them.
Because of Anre? You could say it. You could say it.
And definitely had a point in breaking me to not ever play another fighting game ever again.
And then next up, we have Doom 3 VR Edition. I played Doom VR before. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool to be able to play Doom in VR, but I didn't like that it was just kind of a room to shoot enemies, waves of enemies. I would have preferred it to be the whole game in VR, because it basically was just a room where you went in. So I don't know about Doom 3 VR edition. I'm assuming because of the title's namesake, it is just Doom 3 in VR, and that's what I would have wanted to have played originally. So that's pretty cool for anyone that has a VR system. Evil Genius 2 is coming out. Doesn't look very interesting to me personally. It's a build 'em game. Strategic build 'em game where you steal gold from vaults and things. Kingdom Hearts comes on PC for the collection, which was a game that was very beloved to me. I loved 1 and 2. 3 was okay. And maybe it just came out so late that I just... the magic of what it was before left me. I don't know. But still, a great collection for anyone to play on PC who doesn't own a PlayStation. And Narita Boy looks really cool to me. It's an indie-style game. I love the art style. It looks like an 80s tech hallucination. It really is the best way to describe it. The game,
tech hallucination.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of like, you know, 80s pop culture in it, and like DOS old big square monitors with it looks.
What's the genre?
It seems like a side scroller beat 'em up, not like Streets of Rage, but like just left to right, no dimension there, and you know.
Oh, okay.
It looks fun. It looks cool. And then Disco Elysium is coming for all platforms. That's a game that I really enjoyed playing. I didn't play too much of it, and I know Zach did. What did you think of Disco Elysium?
I'm a huge fan of that game. If you are a tabletop fan of any sort, you are going to love it. The dialogue options are incredible. The story is incredible. The exploration, everything comes together seamlessly in that game, at least on PC. I'm interested to see how they're going to do it for PS5 or whatever system. The console systems they're releasing it on, but as it stands on PC, it is one of my favorite PC games of all time. So
awesome. So yeah, that's coming on all platforms. I also highly recommend it. Take a look at it. It's a fun game. It's a cool game. And then lastly, we have Outriders, the big one for next week. We played the demo, Zach and I, and Anre, you have too, right? You played a little bit of the demo.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it too much because it's actually going to be our game for the observatory next week. So Thursday, we're going to get into the observatory and we're going to play some Outriders, and we will discuss it more there. But I'm looking forward to it. I had fun with the demo. What about you guys?
I'm skeptical. I think it would be a game that's great with friends and a good multiplayer experience. But other than that, I don't think I would play this game on my own. Mainly because, I mean, it's not really like I enjoyed Destiny, but I didn't want to play it by myself. It's kind of the same vein.
Oh, sure.
I feel like it'll just be interesting to see how long it lasts, I guess.
Well, you know what I'm stoked about is that it's going to be cross-platform at launch. So,
that's good.
Yeah,
No.
It's going to be. I don't think, initial thoughts here. I don't think that Square Enix is going to let this fall like some of the others, like Anthem. I think they are going to make this thing thrive, and I've been seeing a lot of things regarding a lot of endgame content already. So.
It's supposed to mostly, if not be entirely free after you purchase the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As you mentioned, I did play the demo. I played the opening sequence, and I played another mission after that. It looks like an above average to moderately fun game that can be very, very fun with friends.
Yep. Agreed.
And
because I played it with other people. You played it by yourself, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
I played it with 2 other people, and I think 3 is the max in each game. And we had a lot of fun with 3 people. So yeah, and then the other day I played it for a little bit by myself. Wasn't nearly as fun. So I agree. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a game. Yeah, you're the Trinity here. Yep. All right, so we're gonna enter the observatory next week. So find us on twitch.tv/Crown King Media, and we'll be in there around 8:00 Eastern. And hang out with us while we play. Then, next we're going to talk about games that are on sale right now and that are interesting to us that we feel is
what
worth.
What day was that?
Thursday. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
All right. So on sale this week, we've got on Steam. What's interesting to me is Hunt Showdown is 50% off. And that's a game that Zach and I have had a little experience with, and we've had some fun playing. What are your thoughts on that, Zach? Quick thoughts.
I definitely think 50% off is a perfect time to pick that game up. It is a lot of fun, and it is an experience that I think you should at least try. If you don't enjoy it, I mean, at least it's not full price. But I think $50 is a good price point to jump in.
Yeah. Look it up. Watch a trailer. If it seems interesting to you, it probably is, and it's 50% off. Check it out. Next is Doom Eternal, 50% off on Steam. I think that's amazing. Doom is the last 2 games have been phenomenal, and pick that game up. It was great. So next we got Switch. The ones I saw that were interesting to me: Mario Rabbids Kingdom, 83% off. I thought that was a fun little game. It's a strategy game, a tactics style game. I thought it was fun. 83% off. Huh?
I'll hop on that and agree.
Yeah.
Definitely a fun game. Check it out.
Immortals Phoenix Rising is 50% off. I have not played this yet. I hear a lot of people really love it and they enjoy it, especially people who have enjoyed Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I hear good things about it too.
I played it on the Switch, and I would not recommend it on the Switch, if I'm being honest. It's
okay.
funky. It does not play nearly as well as what I've seen it played on another console.
Okay. Well, that's good advice. Thanks. 2 that I do love and adore here. Okami HD is 50% off on the Switch right now. That game is a phenomenal title. Take a look at it. If it's something you maybe haven't played, but you looked at and you're like, maybe one day I'll play that, buy it now. It's the perfect time to play it. 50% off. The game is amazing. Highly recommend it. Anyone else played Okami?
I have
not.
Okay.
I've heard of it, obviously, but
it's fantastic. That was a great experience. Classic, as we should have now dubbed these types of games. Right next to GoldenEye. All right, and then Overcooked 2 is 50% off.
Many comments about GoldenEye. It's gonna be hilarious.
Ooh, don't golden gun me. Overcooked 2 is 50% off right now. That is a fun, hectic, hell of a game to play with your friends and hate them afterwards. Pick that up. All right, so what's going on over there on PlayStation Store? We got any sales that are worth looking at over there, Anre?
So, firstly, the most important thing is if you have a PlayStation 5, this is just yet another reminder to get as many games as you can from the PlayStation collection. It's just so many games. They're incredible. And there's really no timetable that we've been given so far. So, there's still time to get all these amazing games. There's God of War 2018. There's Persona 5, Final Fantasy 15, Days Gone. There's just a myriad of games that you can just get for free.
Right
just
now.
Have them. Just own them.
Yep.
You don't even need PlayStation Plus to get the PlayStation Plus collection. It's a little wild actually, but right now they're running a play at home deal to try to get people to stay at home during this pandemic. It's not over yet, but it's it's getting there. We're starting to get some victories in this battle. They have a lot of games. Some ones that I thought were interesting. Astrobot Rescue Mission and Moss, both VR games.
Yeah, I played Moss. That's a good title. Very good.
Check that out. Free. Subnautica.
I love some Subnautica. My God, it's on sale right now. What's it at?
It's free.
Free. Must play. Everyone get Subnautica. That game. Oh my God, I couldn't stop. I couldn't put it down. I love it. All of the games every second.
With the Play at Home initiative are free, and that includes Abzu, the next game. Just to, haven't played it myself.
Yeah, I downloaded it for free back in the day. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, and the biggest game to me right now, Ratchet and Clank, is free.
Oh, perfect.
Ratchet and Clank, the PS4 game. Amazing game. I platinumed it. I love it. It's a great game for newcomers and old heads. I was new to the series. I love the humor. It's a frenetic game. It's a fast-paced game, and it's a beautiful game. And you play that game, and you're gonna want to play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is probably why they're letting you do it for free.
Exactly. Yeah.
As
Because at the time of launch, wasn't that Ratchet and Clank game $40 at the time?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
That's
so
exactly
this
right.
new one is going to be $70 price point, right? On the PS5, a Rift Apart.
I would imagine, yeah, $70, yeah.
So yeah, they're really betting on people wanting to play it. So I think it's a smart move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that game was definitely worth full price. They just gave it to you for $40 because I think basically because it's a remake. It's not an original game, but it has enough original stuff in it that you could definitely resell it for full price.
Yeah. Okay.
The Mega Marts deals right now. I don't know how soon you would have to get these. I imagine they end sometime in early April. But Crash Bandicoot 4, $69. It's 38 right
Okay.
now. So you can get that. Rainbow Six Siege Deluxe Edition.
Hey,
The deluxe edition, $40.
love some Siege. Okay.
Is what it was originally, and it's $10 right now. So I mean, they've been adding operators on and on. I know people that still play it. I know David loves Siege. It has been getting better and better and better and better. Ubisoft should be applauded because a lot of their games they've been
Still alive.
they've been
Still
doing
thriving. Yeah.
some great updates with them and fostering these communities. And a lot of these updates are free. So Watch Dogs 2 is $50. Normally it's $10 right now. That's a very good game. That's
wow.
To me, I haven't beat Legion because Cyberpunk came out and it's a better game. But I do like Legion.
Controversy.
But Watch Dogs 2 is probably the best of the series, and it made a lot of necessary improvements to the first Watch Dogs. I think the character's better. Just like I like Aiden more than a lot of people do, but like his old gravelly Batman cosplay type thing kind of grated on people. Marcus is like a complete opposite of that. He's happy, he makes hacking seem like he's having fun with it and not like torturing his soul or whatever. The surrounding characters are better. They're more memorable and more fun. It can be cringy at times, especially if you're not into that scene. It's definitely like Neo San Francisco type deal. It's just like, it's like if you're not a person that likes that scene, then you're really not going to like it because this is like that times 10 or something. But it's a fun game. It's a bright game. And finally, I Am Setsuna is $20 right now. It's normally $45. So
I've heard a lot of good things about that. I haven't played it myself, but I've heard some great things about that title. Yeah.
Yeah, same. So I would definitely pick that up if you're thinking about picking up a nice RPG for the 4 or the 5. Obviously, it's a PS4 game that can be played on the PS5. So those were the deals that struck me out on the PlayStation verse.
And Zach, is there anything that you saw that we haven't spoke of that you want to mention, or
I think Anre basically hit all of them. Just the Crash 4 sell was kind of shocking to me whenever I saw it on the store the other day. So that was the big one.
That's a relatively new game.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of came out and it's already on sale, so that was kind of interesting. So I definitely thought about picking that one up.
Okay. So talking about games that aren't on sale, that aren't a deal right now, what are stuff that you're currently playing? Anything new that you're playing right now? What are you having fun with?
It Takes Two is incredible.
It Takes Two, yeah. Okay, that just launched, right? A couple days ago?
I think it was Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
It was Thursday night. From the people who made A Way Out, it's split screen, kind of in the same vein.
Can you play it by yourself?
You cannot play it by yourself.
So it does take two.
Exactly, it takes two.
Okay. All right.
That's a good start.
I will say the story isn't what I would hope for, but the gameplay is incredible and it's a lot of fun.
Story's not Hades level.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna win a BAFTA for best game, but I watched a trailer on it earlier and it looked like a ton of fun. The art style, everything looked really interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like it's like a conglomeration of just a lot of different styles of mini games.
Exactly, that was what I was gonna add. That there are so many genres that are melded into this game that it has surprised me going through because I didn't know much about it going into it, and it has surprised me, and I am enjoying the game a lot. So
awesome.
Is this the game where you're a couple?
You're a husband and wife on the verge of divorce, and your daughter is trying to get you two to stay together. That is the story. So
that's a fun premise.
Oh yeah.
Would you recommend it for people who don't typically play games, like wives or girlfriends that don't play games, or boyfriends and
that's an excellent question.
I have my girlfriend and I played some this morning, and she has no history in like 3D games, movement or camera control, and she was doing a fantastic job after a little while. So it was easy to pick up. You don't really die.
Okay.
You can't, but you respawn right where you were, pretty much. So, I mean, there's no real risk to losing. You just start back from where you were. So it's definitely a fun game to play with someone who doesn't have a lot of gaming experience or no gaming experience.
Okay.
Because like none.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah.
I think everybody that plays a video game and their significant other doesn't just wants to get them up and up to the level where they can play like Dark Souls and Demon Souls, and they can understand why they're always yelling.
Absolutely.
They can understand what true bullshit is,
and why it's so damn difficult.
So Zach, okay, now I got a question for you. Will people who have no heart like playing this game?
They don't really. That's what I'm saying. The story doesn't really try and tear into you. It's really not a deep story. I think it was definitely more gameplay focused, which they hit the nail on the head. It's a semi-spoiler, but they did a really good job. And if you like just fun, kind of like Sackboy, kind of like that, just fun games in general. And
family style game, okay, yeah.
You'll definitely enjoy it, for sure.
What about you, Anre? What are you playing, man?
Well, I'm always playing Madden.
Okay.
I'm always taking names, snatching souls. I'm playing Cyberpunk still. I've been playing that real slow, sometimes I go weeks without playing. But when I get back, it's not like, oh, I forgot everything. It's like I remember the branching storylines. I remember this, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember how to shoot and cut people up with my my needle. It's my sword, by the way. I'm playing that, and those are like the two main things, ever since I beat Miles Morales and I platinum that, haven't played too many other PlayStation 5 games.
Okay.
So just waiting. The next big one, obviously, is Returnal.
I'm stoked for that one. Yeah.
Day one.
Very, very excited for that.
Yeah. Very excited.
I'll probably never play it. Anyway, so yeah, I've been playing, Loop Hero most recently. I crushed that. I've met my goal of over 100 loops. I don't know why I did that. I wanted that goal. I think I'm taking a little. Yeah, thank you. I'm taking a little break, and then I'm gonna try for like 1,000 loops, and see if that's even humanly possible. I think that's my next goal. Wait, 500. Let's go 500. We'll go 500 loops, and then we'll go for 1,000. We'll go the mile then. Okay. But yeah, so I've enjoyed Loop Hero. It was a lot of fun for what it was. And then I started playing, Curse of the Dead Gods. I'm still enjoying that. I'm trying to take it as far as I can go pretty quickly because we're going to do another segment where we do a review of what we've already viewed. And we're going to come back and take another look at Curse of the Dead Gods after I've gotten into the endgame content and really give another opinion on it. So, I'd like to get that out to everyone in a couple of weeks, and we'll get there. Other than that, I've been playing a little bit of Astral Chain on the Switch. I'm trying to get back into that because it's a game I really enjoyed, but got busy with something else at the time. So starting to get back into that a little bit, and really looking forward to playing some Outriders with some friends. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, definitely. Cannot wait. So, well, that about sums it up for today's episode, everyone. I just want everyone to remember that, we may be crowned king, but everyone's royalty here. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good day.